All right, what's up, guys? Listen, today I want to talk a little bit about React. So this is my personal website. It is chrislikescode.com. It is a React website. Specifically, what I want to talk about today is the contact form. So people might be wondering, how do you get a contact form to work in React, right? Do you use MailChimp? Do you use all these? No. Let me show you what we did, and it's kind of cool. So this React application is hosted on DigitalOcean in a droplet in an Ubuntu server. So basically what we have as a React component, right, which is our form, which you see, which is basically this piece of the pie, just what you see is right here, right? So it's just basically pure HTML, typical React stuff. And then it has a handle submit function. So the key is, what does this handle submit function? So the first part of the handle submit function just basically saves the data from the form. So we get the name value, the email value, the message value into this details object, right? So that's the first thing. The key to the response, or to the submitting the form, right? Submitting it. So what does submitting a form really mean? We're posting to our API on our DigitalOcean server with the details, right, in a JSON format because we're stringifying it. Then we wait for the response, and we basically send you the thank you message. Thank you. So where does this go? What does this do? So this is our node server. This node server is also running on DigitalOcean. It's running on a different droplet, on a different Ubuntu droplet. And the key library that we're using to kind of set this up for it to be like a submit email is NodeMailer. So basically this allows us to send an email with Node. So when somebody submits our form, basically what happens is that information gets passed to my API, and then my API emails me with that information. We also are setting up an HTTPS server. Our React application is an HTTPS SSL server, and it's a React application, right? So it's using SSL. If you're on an HTTPS application, you can't request data from an HTTP application, right? It's not going to work. It's not going to let you. It's an insecure request. So basically, we have to do an HTTPS server. But yeah, so we create our HTTPS server. We set it to listen on a specific port. So then we have this, right? So this is us setting up our NodeMailer. Basically, this gets the details of our Gmail account because we have to use an SMTP server, right? You have to send mail. So we have to set up our NodeMailer with some email account. I use Gmail, so I basically had to set this up with my Gmail credentials to make it work. And then we call contact email verify, which is a NodeMailer function to verify that this is all correct. If it all works, when you launch your server, it should say ready to send, right? So it'll say everything's good. And then we have to set up the route. So the route is where we send that post request, right? So we do router post contact. So we're sending that post request to our API at path contact, right? We're sending it, again, we're getting the request details, the name, email, message, etc. We're creating our mail that NodeMailer will use to send the email, right? And then we call contact mail, which is our NodeMailer object, and we call the send mail method, right? And so it sends our mail, and then it basically just sends an email. So basically the full path of this looks like somebody's on the website, they fill this information, they hit submit. The API, right, which we have in our React server, this is Node, in our React application, sorry, creates a fetch post request to our Node API server. Our Node API server then uses NodeMailer to send us an email. And then you go. Then you have a fully functioning form on your React application. Now, there's a lot of checks you have to do, and there's a lot of more things you can do to make it more robust, and obviously error catching and things like that. But NodeMailer is a great tool if you want a simple form on your website, so you basically can just get emails. Alternatively, what I will be doing is obviously I'm going to be setting up like an SQL database, or probably maybe NoSQL, we'll see, or Mongo. And then we will save some of that contact information in a separate place, not just email, right? So we'll create SQL calls based on that API. But once you have a Node API server up running with Express, you can basically use it for anything, right? You now have a server that you can use as an API gateway to basically do anything you want. So yeah, guys. So I hope that was kind of informative. I know it was a bit long-winded. All right, guys. Happy Monday, and take it easy. All right, adios.